So I just cleared off our artboard again, and now we're going to talk about the classifications of type. This is important because every type of type has a different meaning and connotation. As a graphic designer, your job is to find the right type of typeface for the right situation. Knowing these different categories is the first step of making sense of type. So since we've been working with Helvetica, and I'm assuming that most of you guys know what Helvetica is, we're going to start with Helvetica. Helvetica falls under the category of a sans serif. This means that it has no serifs. You might be familiar with a couple sans serifs like Arial, Myriad Pro, Druck, and maybe Franklin Gothic. Nowadays, we usually associate sans serifs with contemporary design because currently it is in trend to use them. The second kind of typeface we're going to be talking about is a serif typeface. The most well-known serif is probably Times New Roman. You've probably used this typeface plenty of times for essays, and the reason for that is because serifs tend to be more legible than sans serifs. The serifs on a typeface are these caps at the end of these letter forms. Indirectly, these serifs create lines at the top and bottoms of words, which makes it easier for a reader to keep their place. Some serifs you might know are Minion, Bodoni, Garamond, and Caslon. After many years of seeing almost only sans serifs in design, it seems like serifs are becoming popular again, as they tend to have more personality and humanistic qualities than sanses. Serifs also have sort of like a subsection, which is the slab serif. Unlike serifs, which have these delicate serifs on the end, slab serifs tend to have very geometric, blocky serifs. The most popular slab serif is probably Rockwell, which feels both geometric and industrial, giving it quite a unique personality. So zooming in between these two typefaces, it's quite easy to see the differences between these serifs. The serifs on slab serifs tend to be almost uniline or equal widths to the rest of the typeface. I find that this quality helps slabs feel less bookish than regular serifs and can make them feel more industrial or even more down to earth. The next kind of typeface that we're going to talk about is a monospace. So both serifs and sans serifs can be monospaced, but every single letter just has to take up the same amount of space. Currently a pretty popular one is Space Mono, which is a Google font. But this kind of typeface originated from typewriters, where every letter had to fit on the same size piece of lead. Now, I don't know if any of you Gen Zers have ever actually seen a typewriter, but monospace typefaces were also used for early computers and are still commonly used for coding. So here I put an N and an M next to each other. In a monospace typeface, these two letters will share the same width. However, in a regularly spaced typeface, these two letters will have vastly different widths. I'm just using the eyedropper tool here to copy over the font, but essentially you can see that the slab serif has vastly different widths for each of these letters compared to the monospace. The next category of typeface would be the script typeface. While serif typefaces are also directly derived from handwriting, the script typeface is quite obviously just calligraphic writing turned into a typeface. I'm going to show you Tangier, which is one of my favorites, but other popular scripts include Snell, Bickham, Brush Script, and Minstrel. For quite obvious reasons, script typefaces tend to be used for decorative purposes. If they are too small, they become very difficult to read. Similarly, our last category, which is the display, houses all the weird, wacky typefaces that can't really fall into the other categories and are usually just used for fun. I'm sure you all know your own bunch of these typefaces. I definitely have like too many downloaded from dafont.com, but probably some of the most popular ones are Comic Sans, Papyrus, Hobo, and Digestive. Displays can really create a specific feel for your work, but usually cannot be used for large chunks of type or copy. So that's just a brief breakdown of type classifications. If you're interested in this kind of stuff, you will be taking Type 1 in your BFA 2 year, which will go much deeper into the specifics of type. So a few moments ago, we actually talked about the eyedropper tool. I'm going to demo a few different things it can do because it can do some cool things with type. If you select any other type with the eyedropper tool, it will come out as the same font. The font includes the typeface family, weight, point size, etc., etc. Essentially, using the eyedropper tool in this way will make it share every single characteristic except for what the words actually say. For example, if both words have different colors, the eyedropper tool will select the color along with all the other characteristics. You can also use the eyedropper to only select the color of a font by holding Shift down while you select. As you can see, it picked up the purple color but did not pick up any of the other features of the font like the typeface or the font size. So in the next part of this lesson, we will be getting into some of the more nitty-gritty parts of typography, which is why this part is a bit shorter. If you're watching these all consecutively, this is a good time to take a break, get a drink of water, etc., etc. That's pretty much it for this part, so I'll see you guys over in the next video.